Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, today I want to share with you a message that can transform your peace, your strength, and your dignity. Ignore them. If someone disrespects you, we will meet people who may try to put us down, criticize us, or disrespect us. Not because we are wrong, but because they are hurting inside. Remember this. People do not see you as you are. They see you as they are. When someone disrespects you, it only reveals their character, not yours. Your worth is not defined by the opinions or disrespect of others. Your value exists within you, independent of external voices, judgments, or attitudes. Too often, people allow the behavior of others to shape the way they view themselves. A harsh comment, a rude gesture, or a disrespectful tone can make us question our dignity. But the truth is simple. Someone else's inability to recognize your value does not decrease it. Just as a diamond remains a diamond, even if someone calls it a stone, you remain valuable regardless of who fails to acknowledge it. Your worth is inherent. It is built from your character, your intentions, your efforts, and the person you are becoming every day. No insult can diminish that unless you give it permission to. There will always be individuals who misunderstand you, doubt you, or underestimate you, not because there is something wrong with you, but because they are limited in their perception. People see the world through the lens of their own experiences, wounds, insecurities, and priorities. When they disrespect you, it is often a reflection of their internal struggles, not your shortcomings. When someone tries to belittle you, they may actually be revealing their insecurity about your potential. The moment you internalize their disrespect, you hand over your power. But when you remain grounded in your self-worth, their disrespect loses its impact. It becomes noise that you simply do not absorb. True confidence comes from understanding that your identity is not shaped by external validation. You are not valuable because others approve of you. You are valuable because you exist with purpose and potential. Think of a tree standing tall in a forest. Whether people admire it or ignore it, it continues to grow, rise, and stand strong. It does not shrink because someone chooses not to see its beauty. In the same way, your growth, your journey, your goals, and your dreams are not dependent on how others treat you. You are here to fulfill your own purpose, not to meet the expectations of others. When someone disrespects you, you have a choice. You can allow their words to disturb your peace, or you can stand firm in your self-respect. The strongest response to disrespect is not to argue louder or fight harder, but to remember your value and continue moving forward with dignity. Silence, composure, and confidence show that you know your worth. People will eventually see it too, not because you demanded recognition, but because you lived in a way that made it unmistakable. It is important to surround yourself with those who appreciate your presence, encourage your growth, and support your journey. But it is equally important to understand that your worth does not increase when someone praises you, nor does it decrease when someone disrespects you. Real strength is the ability to remain the same person, kind, focused, and grounded, regardless of how others behave. When you stop seeking permission to feel worthy, you become unstoppable. You stop chasing validation. You stop trying to prove yourself. You begin to live for yourself instead of living for the approval of others. Remember this, you are worthy not because the world says you are, but because you are uniquely you. Your experiences, your resilience, your struggles, your growth, they all contribute to your value. Disrespect from others is merely a temporary noise in the background of your journey. Do not let it silence your confidence. Carry your worth with you in every step, every decision, and every moment. When you know who you are, no one's disrespect can shake you. You become calm, strong, and unbothered. And that is where true power lives. Silence is one of the most powerful responses to disrespect because it reflects not only maturity, but also an unshakable understanding of one's own value. When someone disrespects you, Their goal, consciously or unconsciously, is often to provoke a reaction. They want to pull you into their emotional storm. But when you remain silent, you refuse to be moved by their chaos. You show that your peace is not something you are willing to hand over easily. Silence is not about suppressing your voice. It is about choosing when your voice actually matters. It is the wisdom of knowing that not every comment deserves attention, and not every person deserves access to your emotional world. People who react quickly often react from ego, not clarity. Ego wants to defend itself, prove something, or attack back. But silence is a response that comes from awareness. It says, I understand what you said, I see the intention behind it, and I choose not to let this affect my state of mind. This form of control is far more powerful than any comeback could ever be. When you remain silent, you are not losing the argument. You are simply refusing to participate in a conversation that will not elevate your life. Sometimes saying nothing is a stronger statement than anything you could say aloud. Many people misunderstand silence as weakness, but silence is not the absence of strength, it is the presence of self-control. Anyone can shout, anyone can argue, anyone can insult, but very few people can remain composed when their dignity is challenged. Those who master silence have mastered themselves. They have reached a level of mental discipline that cannot be easily shaken, and that in itself commands respect, even from those who intended to disrespect you. When someone disrespects you and you choose silence, you are also sending a message to yourself. You are telling yourself, I do not need validation. I do not need to prove my worth. I know who I am. This internal reinforcement is powerful. It builds confidence, stability, and emotional strength. Over time, silence becomes a shield that protects your peace from being disturbed by every small or petty action around you. Another profound aspect of silence is the effect it has on the person who disrespected you. When they see that their actions fail to trigger you, they are forced to reflect, whether consciously or subconsciously. They begin to question themselves, their intentions, and sometimes even their behavior. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects their insecurity and immaturity. Instead of your reaction validating their negativity, your silence exposes it. However, silence does not mean ignoring your own emotions. It means processing them internally rather than reacting impulsively. After choosing silence, you can decide calmly whether the situation needs a dignified conversation, distance, or complete detachment. Silence gives you control over your response instead of letting your emotions control you. It allows you to choose the higher road. In a world where people constantly seek to prove themselves, silence is elegance. In a world where anger is seen as strength, silence is wisdom. In a world where loudness is mistaken for power, silence is the real power. Your silence is your declaration that your peace matters more than the noise around you. And the moment you learn to value your peace, your life begins to elevate itself naturally. You start to attract better people, better environments, and better outcomes, all simply because you chose not to let disrespect disturb your inner world. Protect your peace and energy, because not everyone deserves your attention. Your peace is one of the most valuable parts of your life. It is the foundation that allows you to think clearly, make wise decisions, and move forward with purpose. When your peace is disturbed, your judgment becomes clouded, your emotions take control, and your actions become reactive rather than intentional. This is why it is essential to guard your inner space the way you would protect something precious. Not every person who enters your life comes with good intentions. Some come with negativity, chaos, and disrespect, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And if you allow these energies to enter your world, you will find yourself drained, frustrated, and emotionally exhausted. Your energy is your life force. It is what you use to work, to build, to love, to create, and to grow. When you spend this energy responding to negativity or proving yourself to people who are unwilling to understand you, you waste something that could have been invested in your progress. Every time you argue with someone who has already made up their mind, you lose energy. Every time you react to someone trying to provoke you, you lose peace. Every time you try to change someone who does not want to change, you lose time. Protecting your peace means being selective about where your emotions go. It means recognizing that not every situation deserves your reaction, and not every person has earned the right to occupy space in your mind. There will always be people who misunderstand you, judge you, or speak about you without knowing the full story. You cannot control their words, but you can control how you respond. When you choose to walk away instead of engaging, you are valuing your peace. When you choose silence instead of confrontation, you are strengthening your emotional discipline. When you choose to focus on yourself instead of fighting to be understood, you are growing. Protecting your peace is not avoiding challenges, it is choosing which challenges are worth facing. There is dignity in choosing yourself. Sometimes, protecting your peace means distancing yourself from people you care about. It may mean letting go of relationships that are draining, conversations that always end in conflict, or environments that constantly trigger stress. This can be difficult because the heart often wants to hold on. But just because you value someone does not mean you must sacrifice your mental well-being for them. Love cannot survive where peace does not exist. Respect cannot grow where boundaries are not honored. Growth cannot happen where negativity is constant. To protect your peace, learn to say no without guilt. Learn to walk away without explanations. Learn to prioritize your inner stability over temporary emotional reactions. Your peace is not selfish, it is necessary. When you are at peace, you think better, you speak better, you behave better, and you live better. You attract more meaningful relationships, healthier mindsets, and stronger opportunities. Peace is not the absence of problems, it is the strength to remain calm within them. Your energy shapes your life. The more you invest it in the right places, self-growth, learning, meaningful relationships, and purposeful goals, the more your life will elevate. But if you waste your energy responding to disrespect, negativity, or unnecessary drama, you hold yourself back. Protecting your peace is an act of wisdom. It is a commitment to yourself that you will not allow the world to disturb your inner harmony. It is choosing maturity over impulsiveness, self-respect over approval, and growth over conflict. When you protect your peace, you protect your future. Focus on self-growth and let your improvement be your loudest answer. In life, not every challenge requires a reply, and not every disrespect needs to be confronted. Sometimes the most powerful way to respond is through progress. When you put your energy into becoming better, stronger, wiser, and more skilled, you rise above the level of those who try to pull you down. Their disrespect becomes insignificant in comparison to your growth. Instead of arguing to prove yourself, you prove yourself through your actions, your results, and the person you evolve into. Growth is silent, but its impact speaks louder than any words ever could. There will always be moments where you feel misunderstood or underestimated. There will be people who doubt your capabilities or question your potential. But their disbelief should never distract you from your journey. Your growth is not something that needs approval from others. It is a personal process, driven by your goals, shaped by your discipline, and powered by your determination. When you make the decision to focus on your development rather than reacting to negativity, you shift your energy from conflict to progress. You stop trying to convince others of your worth and instead invest in becoming someone whose achievements speak for themselves. Self-growth requires patience. It asks you to trust yourself, even when results are not immediately visible. Improvement is often quiet and gradual. It happens in the small decisions you make every day. The decision to learn instead of complain, to practice instead of procrastinate, to stay calm instead of react. These small choices compound over time, and one day the same people who doubted you will be forced to recognize your strength. Not because you argued, but because you transformed. A powerful thing happens when you focus on bettering yourself. Your identity becomes rooted in growth rather than approval. You no longer rely on external validation to feel confident. Your confidence begins to come from your effort, your consistency, and your discipline. You start to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Criticism no longer breaks you, it motivates you. Disrespect no longer destroys your peace. It reminds you to stay aligned with your goals. When you choose growth, you choose to prioritize your future over temporary actions. You begin to understand that your time and energy are valuable. Arguing with someone who has already formed an opinion of you does not serve your growth. Trying to prove your worth to someone who refuses to see it drains your strength. But using that same energy to improve your life builds your future. Progress is the most powerful response because it shows that no matter what others say or do, you will continue to rise. Your journey is your statement. Your progress is your voice. Your success is your result. Let the quality of your work speak for you. Let the upgrades in your mindset, habits, and lifestyle reflect the strength of your character. The best revenge against disrespect is not anger, it is excellence. When you grow beyond the level where their words mattered, you realize that they were never capable of defining you in the first place. So continue learning, continue improving, continue refining who you are. Stay committed to your goals. Use your silence as focus and your progress as your response. One day the world will see what you already knew, that you were always capable, always strong, and always worthy. And you did not need to argue to prove it. You simply became it. Surround yourself with people who value, uplift, and respect you. The environment you place yourself in has a direct impact on your growth, your mindset, and your peace. Human beings are deeply influenced by the company they keep. When you are around individuals who appreciate you, encourage your progress, and understand your worth, you naturally feel supported and motivated. On the other hand, when you are surrounded by people who belittle you, mock your dreams, or consistently bring negativity into your life, your confidence slowly begins to weaken. This is why choosing your circle wisely is one of the most powerful decisions you will ever make. The people you allow into your life either nourish your spirit or drain your energy. If someone's presence constantly makes you doubt yourself, question your abilities, or feel small, then you are sacrificing your peace for the sake of connection. Not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions, and not everyone who stands near you truly stands with you. Pay attention to the way you feel when you interact with someone. Your peace is a signal. When you feel calm, understood, and valued, you are in the right company. When your heart feels heavy, anxious, or tense, it is a sign that the environment is not aligned with your growth. The right people will never need to be convinced to respect you. Respect is a natural outcome of genuine appreciation. These are the people who celebrate your achievements rather than feel threatened by them. They listen when you speak, instead of waiting for their turn to talk. They are honest with you, in a way that encourages growth rather than causes harm. They remind you of your strengths when you forget them. They don't try to change who you are, they inspire you to become more of who you were meant to be. Being around uplifting individuals also pushes you to grow. When you see others striving to improve themselves, you feel encouraged to do the same. Motivation becomes shared. Success becomes contagious. Healthy friendships and supportive relationships create environments where progress feels natural. These are the people who say, "I believe in you," and mean it. They do not feel insecure about your growth, they are proud to see it. They build you, not break you. However, surrounding yourself with respectful and uplifting people sometimes requires making difficult decisions. It may require walking away from relationships that you have held on to for years. It may mean distancing yourself from family members who consistently disrespect your boundaries. It may mean letting go of friendships that were once meaningful, but no longer support the person you are becoming. Growth will often ask you to release what is familiar in exchange for what is healthy. And that is not easy, but it is necessary. Always remember that it is better to be alone than in the wrong company. Solitude is not empty, it is space for clarity, healing, and growth. When you create space by letting go of the wrong people, you make room for the right ones to enter. You begin to attract people who match your mindset, your values, and your direction. Your energy becomes clearer, your confidence becomes stronger, and your life becomes more peaceful. Your circle should not be based on how many people surround you, but on how deeply they support you. Prioritize quality over quantity. Seek people who bring light, not shadows. Surround yourself with those who not only respect you when you are strong, but also hold you gently when you are vulnerable. These are the relationships that help you grow, heal, and rise. When your environment supports you, your spirit thrives. And when your spirit thrives, your life becomes a reflection of the peace and strength within you. Walk away from negativity with dignity, not anger. When someone disrespects you, the first instinct is often to defend yourself, to respond, to prove something. But true strength lies in knowing when to step away. Walking away does not mean you are weak or afraid. It means you respect yourself enough to not stay where your peace is threatened. Negativity thrives when it is fed attention. When you respond with anger, you give the other person exactly what they wanted, a reaction. But when you rise above and leave with calmness, their negativity loses its power completely. There is a quiet confidence in choosing peace over conflict. It shows that you are in control of your emotions, instead of letting circumstances control you. Anyone can argue, anyone can fight. It takes real maturity to say, this is not worth my energy, and move forward. Your dignity is not measured by how loudly you defend yourself, but by how gracefully you distance yourself from things that do not align with your self-respect. Every time you walk away with composure, you reinforce your inner strength. Your silence becomes a shield, protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Negativity can come from many places: friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers. Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who hurt us the most. But no matter where it comes from, you must remember that not everything deserves your presence. You are not obligated to stay in environments that drain you. You are not required to endure disrespect just to maintain relationships. Your peace is more important than any connection built on discomfort. Walking away is not just a reaction, it is a decision to choose yourself. When you walk away with dignity, you show the world that your value does not depend on others' behavior. You show that you are strong enough to remove yourself from situations that are unhealthy. You stop trying to change people who are not ready to change. You refuse to engage in conversations that go in circles. You stop explaining your worth to people who are determined not to understand it. Your life becomes clearer, your mind becomes lighter, and your heart becomes more secure. Walking away also creates space for better things to enter your life. When you hold on to negativity, even emotionally, you block the possibility of growth. But when you release what weighs you down, you open the path for peace, clarity, and positive relationships. Detachment is not coldness, it is emotional maturity. It is saying, I care about myself enough to not stay where I am not respected. And the moment you make that decision, you step into a healthier, stronger, and more empowered version of yourself. There may be people who misunderstand your silence. They may call you cold, arrogant, or disrespectful. But remember, people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always complain when you start setting them. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to protect your peace. Your life is too valuable to be spent in constant conflict. Your mind deserves calm. Your heart deserves ease. Your energy deserves direction. Walking away is not the end of something. It is the beginning of something better. The beginning of loving yourself more. The beginning of choosing peace. The beginning of emotional maturity. When you walk away with dignity, you send a message to the world and to yourself that your worth is non-negotiable. You are not defined by how others treat you. You are defined by how you choose to respond. So step away from negativity with grace. Let silence be your strength. Let self-respect guide your steps. And let your peace be the priority that shapes the life you are creating. As you walk out today, carry this lesson in your heart. Not every voice deserves your reply, and not every insult deserves your attention. Rise above, stay calm, and continue shining. Your respectful silence will always speak louder than their disrespectful words. Thank you.